Hi, so maybe you're thinking about starting or have started your own clothing brand recently and are looking for ways to market your brand without spending an awful lot of money. Well, the good news is I can tell you from my own experience with my own clothing brand that it's absolutely possible to grow from scratch without paid advertising. Now, yes, it might take a little bit longer, but it's absolutely possible. And in this video, I'm going to share a really simple tactic that you can employ for your own brand from day one. Let's get straight into it. So the first concept that I want you to think about is lowering the barriers to purchase for your clothing brand. The act of starting a clothing brand is actually quite a simple process, but because of that, it generates huge competition for a product that customers, at the end of the day, they don't really need it, do they? So let's assume that you've painstakingly crafted your brand concept, which you're displaying to your target customer via social media, Instagram, TikTok, whatever it may be. The trick here is to reduce that friction that exists between your brand and your potential customers. Now, there are a few ways of doing this, but they all ultimately come down to establishing credibility and trust for your clothing brand. At the end of the day, you may believe that you've got a fantastic brand concept and product, and you may well have, I'm sure you have, but can your potential customers actually see that? So the strategy that I've been employing for my own clothing brand is really quite simple, and it essentially involves absolutely maximizing the benefit that you take from each sale. So you want to think of making the sale as just the start of the process rather than the end. Because in the early days of starting your clothing brand, making a sale to a stranger on the internet, probably online, hugely rewarding and exhilarating, but few and far between in the early days. So you really need to sweat each and every single sale in order that you can use that sale to help build momentum for your next sale. Now, the way that I try to achieve this for my own clothing brand is to always try and exceed my customers' expectations, and to use that to really leverage that positive customer experience to help me generate two things. The first of which is feedback for my clothing brand, and the second is content for my social media platforms. So you're probably asking yourself, well, Chris, how can you be certain that you're going to exceed your customers' expectations each and every time? And the honest answer to that is I can't be certain, because I can't control how my customers are always going to react. But what I can do is be very mindful of that throughout the entire process. Essentially, I'm focused on a couple of things. The first of which is always delivering a fantastic quality product for the price, which is giving your customers great value for money. And the second thing is trying to create a really unique unboxing experience in the home. If you think about it, when you've ordered something online, it's come through the post, there's quite often a lot of anticipation around opening that box, and quite often you might be doing that on your own. It's quite a personal experience, and it's a great opportunity for you to speak directly to your customer. And if you can really exceed expectations in that moment of almost trepidation as the box is being opened, it's a great opportunity for you to leverage that to create both feedback and content. So without further ado, let's look specifically at what I'm doing for my own clothing brand. Okay, so this is a box which my customers would receive a t-shirt in. I do have other size boxes for sweatshirts, hoodies, and multiple orders. If you're interested in a deep dive into all my packaging components, then I'll leave a link above and also in the description to a video that goes deep into that. So it's a screen printed box, being screen printed by myself with the brand name there, and also a message inside. When they open the box, they'll see an envelope. This is the important piece that will come onto a carefully wrapped t-shirt, and then there's another little message on the underside of the box there. So you would imagine that probably most customers would go straight into the t-shirt, open that up, and then hopefully they realize that they're pleased with what they got. Then we get on to the important piece. So to the strategy that I spoke about before, a little printed envelope Inside here is a packing slip with a little message, a thanks handwritten message, which I think is always a nice touch. Customers don't necessarily expect that. A lot of brands give away stickers. I give away it's a bookmark, cycling related bookmark. And this is the important piece that I wanted to draw your attention to. So for the price of a business card, it's amazing the amount of value that you can get. If you're doing all the other bits well, what this does on one side is it says give it to us straight, and there's a link here saying we'd love your feedback, please leave a review. And then there's a link there, a QR code that can be scanned that takes the customer directly to Trustpilot, the Trustpilot website, the reviews website, certainly really, really popular and very prevalent in the UK, and I think it is internationally as well. Obviously other review websites that can be used, but just makes it really, really easy for them to give feedback in that moment when they're unboxing. So do that via a QR code. And then on the reverse side, just as a little playful message saying, come on then, let's see you in it. Tag us at VÉLOKIND on Facebook or Instagram. So we generate a huge amount of, I say huge, relative, I suppose, we're still a small brand, but we generate a lot of user-generated content from our customers that are really, really happy to share their purchases online. So what I'm going to do now is go over to the laptop and talk you through what that's actually delivered for me and my brand online. So on the Trustpilot homepage at the moment, if I just type in the name of my clothing brand, it throws up a number of results. I'll click on my company, and you can see here immediately that I've got a Trustpilot star rating of 4.8. Now, it's not quite an average of all the reviews that I've received. It's based on a number of factors, including the age of the reviews, number of reviews, and whether or not a customer's been actively seeking feedback. So very, very happy with that. If you scroll down, you can see that 98% of all my reviews are 5-star, with a small proportion of 4-star, so can't complain with that. As we scroll down, these aren't all in chronological order, but some really, really positive feedback here. Excellent service and quality teas. The parcel itself oozes quality and includes a personal touch from the owner, Chris. So obviously we touched on that before and that got acknowledged, would be 10-star if allowed. You see I've left a reply there. Amazing customer service and support, third-time purchasing, excellent communication, superb t-shirt all round, VÉLOKIND are amazing. And you'll see what I do with each and every single review is I always reply out of courtesy, really, as much as anything, to say thank you to the customer. But it's also then there for anybody else that's looking, that's interested in perhaps buying for the first time. They've come on here, they're looking to check you out. Are you credible or not? Yes, you are. And you're actually a decent fella or decent company in that you reply and appreciate the business. So that's really, really important. One of the things that I also do as well, which has been really, really effective, is when I receive a piece of feedback, I will write to that individual customer using their email from their order, offering them 15% discount code as a thank you for their review. And the uptake on that discount code is really, really high. So that's something definitely worth considering for your own brand. So the other thing that's really good about the Trustpilot website is that I've got an app that's linked to my Shopify store. So whenever I receive an order from a customer, I've got it set up so that I think it's 7 days after the order is received, an email goes out to that customer requesting their feedback. And hopefully by that time, they will have received their item and are in a good place for being able to submit feedback. So you can see that between those emails, the little card that's going out with the order, I'm kind of trying to hit the customer from all angles, and hopefully they'll leave a review. And generally speaking, the uptake is pretty good. So these are all service reviews. What also goes out are individual product request reviews for items that have been bought in a given order. So over time, if you build up sufficient of those individual product reviews, they start to appear, I believe, on Google search results. So that's something to look out for as well. So hopefully you'll agree that, it's really, really worth it. And what I'll show you now is how I incorporate a Trustpilot widget or a couple of widgets into my VÉLOKInd homepage. So we're on the VÉLOKInd homepage now on the PC. If we scroll down, you can see there's a little link here to the Trustpilot website. So just, planting seeds in the mind of the customer who's new to the website that this is a brand that can be trusted, okay? A relatively small number of reviews at the moment, but something to build on, isn't it? And if you click on that, it'll take you straight through to the page that we've just been looking at, and customers can see for themselves a really, really strong case study of reviews and feedback to those reviews as well. Okay, so let's move on to the phone now, and we can have a look at some of the content that I've generated through this strategy as well. Okay, so I'm predominantly using Instagram for my social media marketing. It's where the majority of the target market is for my VÉLOKInd cycling apparel brand. We'll dive into my home page or profile page here. You can see all the various recent posts, which is a combination of cycling related content, me doing my own printing as well. There's quite a lot of behind the scenes stuff in here as well, and interspersed with a few bits of lifestyle photography. And also, if you see here in the highlights on the left hand side, customers will skip into that, and you can see all the images that have resulted from customers taking their own photos, having purchased products of mine, and new customers can look at and say, right, okay, this brand is legit, they're generating orders already, and it just, again, lowers that barrier to purchase, helps build credibility and trust in that they can see that like-minded people are already buying, leaving reviews. So again, as part of my strategy, I'm taking reviews from Trustpilot, dropping them into my Instagram stories every now and again. Some behind the scenes stuff. So yeah, I'll just quickly skip through to the end of those. But you start with one and you build up over time, and the benefits kind of then compound over time. You kind of build up a critical mass, and no longer do you look like a fledgling brand, you look like a brand that's got something about them. So I hope you'll agree that as a combination, those two things can work really, really well together for relatively little cost. Yes, you're going to have to put in some time and effort, but ultimately it's hugely beneficial in the long run. Like a lot of these things, when you're starting a clothing brand or anything that's worth doing, it takes a lot of work up front, but in time it will pay off and start to compound over time. So hope you enjoyed that. Let me know what you think.